Hello, Sam here with a schedule for our next few episodes. So, next episode we'll be looking at the 2014 novel A New Dawn, and in the following episode we'll be looking at all 12 issues of the 2015 comic series Kanan.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a man wore some ponchos, I think. This one doesn't have a crawl, so yeah.
If it's good enough for Rogue One, it's good enough for us.
It's a very, very abrupt start to the episode for this one.
Hi guys, welcome to A Crashing with Starfighter, the Star Wars Book Club podcast, which has had a level up. If it's good enough for video games, it's good enough for us, and that's my phrase of the day apparently. I'm Sam, and I'm here with Emily. Emily, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty alright today. I bought some Pokemon cards today, so yeah.
Ooh, did you get anything good?
No, I bought some singles, so some specific ones. I'm trying to fill Brilliant Stars, which is not going to go well for me, but I'm doing it anyway.
Before we continue, I would like to ask you the question from last week.
Okay, yes, please do.
What class of Star Destroyer did the Republic use in the Clone Wars?
Ooh, okay.
A lot of people, including
Right.
myself, assume that Star Destroyers, based on the name, were an Imperial invention, but no, the Republic had them as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wouldn't have had I would not have had the foggiest because I wouldn't have assumed that it was.
Do you want me to tell you?
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, please do.
They are Venator-class Star Destroyers. And
Oh, yeah.
whereas the Imperial ones are like complete triangles and fully grey, these are the ones, beginning of Revenge of the Sith, you see them. They're like Star Destroyers, but they have kind of a curve to them, where around the hangar bay, they have red stripes, and they have flatter bridges.
Ah,
And they're going to feature
good.
heavily in what we're looking at today.
Okay. Interesting.
So today, we are covering the video game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It was a 2019 release from Respawn, known for Titanfall. It was the third game to come out of Electronic Arts' exclusivity deal with Lucasfilm, following 2015's Battlefront and 2017's Battlefront 2. And Emily, have you got a favourite Star Wars video game?
Ooh, this is a good question. I did play a lot of Battlefront 2, actually. I think we've played Battlefront 2, haven't we, together?
Yep,
Yeah, that was a good time.
the
I
2017
love
one.
that game. Yes, yeah, the 2017 one, sorry, not the original. Um, I do love that one. I also like Knights of the Old Republic as well, 1 and 2.
Those are games that I've never been able to get into. I always have issues with
Really?
BioWare's gameplay, and I don't know why.
Oh,
It's a shame.
I love Bioware games.
I own both KOTORs, I own all three Mass Effects, I own Jade Empire. I haven't been able to play any of them all the way through because I just really struggle with how they make games.
That's fair enough.
And you've
It's
spoken about
something
Dragon
that
Age in the last episode.
yeah. And what did I? Oh, it's because you asked about the Inquisitors. You were
Yep.
like, "Oh, who leads the Inquisitors?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the big Inquisitor man who's in the castle from Dragon Age Inquisition." I Bioware games, I think, really appeal to me from perspective of like, these are your guys. You know, get to know these guys, love these guys, pet these guys, and I'm like, yeah, I do want
Pet
that.
them.
I would like to have, yeah. Oh no, I'm confusing with Fire Emblem. Sorry. No, you.
Huh?
Well, there's some heavy petting involved with some of them.
Moving
Shall we?
on.
Moving swiftly on.
If you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago what my favourite Star Wars game was, I would have answered uh, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I played it for the first time in lockdown, and do you know anything about this game?
Not really. I'm assuming that you're a Jedi at Jedi Academy.
Yes, it's set in the Legends expanded universe after Endor. So you're a student, you're an OC at Luke's Jedi Academy, and you have a blaster and a lightsaber. You go through the worlds, being a cool Jedi. It's got a really, really fun/annoying lightsaber system where a lightsaber can basically one-hit you, but also you can one-hit most things with a lightsaber.
Oh, okay. That sounds like really fun, but also really hell at the same time.
It's impossible to control, but it's also just a really fun gameplay. And like I said, if you asked me a couple of weeks ago, this game would have been my favourite. But I have, honestly, shockingly, really enjoyed Jedi Survivor.
Oh, yo, I'm glad. I'm really glad. It's lived up to the hype.
I finished it in just under a week with 35 hours to do the main story. And yes, it
Not
was a
bad.
blast.
It's not bad these days for a main campaign.
This isn't an episode about Jedi Survivor. This is an episode about its predecessor, Fallen Order. Before we continue, I'd like to go to my spoiler-free review. Jedi Fallen Order is a good video game from a lineage of good Star Wars video games, but what made it really special was it was the first video game we had in canon which had a focus on a single-player story. While the story is set in the Dark Times, an area which may have been overexplored in canon, it still manages to be original, interesting, and has a lot of fun twists and turns. The cast of characters is all insanely lovable, from the main Mantis crew to even the villains. There's only a handful of worlds to explore, they're all very varied, and have a good variety of locations. The most important thing though, for it being a video game, is they are fun to traverse. The Force is a blast, and the Metroidvania style works well as Cal acquires new gadgets and Force abilities throughout the game. The gameplay itself is very inspired by other games of the time. The story includes a lot of set pieces that you'll find in, your normal Sony open world game. It has a parkour system from Uncharted. The world design is open but not massive in a way I quite enjoy. And the combat itself is very parry focused. The way the combat works is you go to a meditation point, you meditate, and you can respawn enemies and heal up at the same time, which is very Dark Souls in style. Basically, this game takes the best elements of other games and puts them together in a Star Wars coat of paint, which basically assures it's of a quality. For one caveat a lot of people do have is customization. While your lightsaber is fairly customizable, the character of Cal Kestis can only really have his appearance changed by changing his poncho. Personally, I'm all #team poncho the whole way, but I know a lot of people did have issue with that, so I wanted to bring it up. But if you're a gamer, I would recommend giving this a go, and if you're a Star Wars fan and not a gamer, I'd recommend looking up a Let's Play on YouTube. This is a blast. So, you mentioned that someone might wear a poncho, maybe?
I want to say, this is the only thing I know about this character. Literally the only thing that I know, because we met some nice cosplayers in ponchos of this character. And also, I believe his actor also showed up to Celebration in a poncho, so that's literally the only thing that I know about him.
Yep, we should probably mention Cameron Monaghan, the person who plays Cal. He was the Joker, Jokers in Gotham, and he does an amazing job in the main role. And I'd also just like to mention the director of this game, Stig Asmussen. And shout out to Tom, the Cal we met at Celebration.
Yeah, he was great. He was a lovely guy.
When we're done with the story, I will rattle through some other members of the cast, but I want to leave some appearances as a surprise.
Okay. Ooh, cameos.
Are you ready to begin?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
So we open on Baraka, a junkyard planet in the Mid-Rim. Sarlaccs live in the surface layer, but most of the ground is covered in ships of the Clone Wars as the Scrappers Guild takes them apart. Inside a Venator-class Star Destroyer, a guy named Prof gets orders from his foreman and walks over to relay them to a red-haired human male who's listening to some rocking tunes. Prof taps his shoulder and he takes off his headphones and we meet Cal Kestis.
What sort of tunes is he listening to?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me just... He is listening to Suganessen by The Who.
Oh, wait, like the real The Who?
It's The HU, not The Who.
Oh, the H.
The Who.
I forgot. I think we've talked about these guys before.
Yep. They're a Mongolian folk metal band formed in 2016.
Oh, so they're a real band?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. They've put in some like out of universe music in there. I don't think Star Wars really has ever done that.
It does fit, and it's cheap from getting an original song recorded.
Yeah, that's fair. No, good for them.
So it's important to note that at this point, Cal Kestis is wearing a poncho.
Hell yes. Let's start as we mean to go on.
Anyway, the foreman is sending Cal and Prof to the top layer of the ship to reattach some cables which are coming loose, and he's offering them double pay to do this. And so, Cal climbs up the inside of the Venator, and we learn the Uncharted-style climbing mechanics, because this is a game. Sometimes, it's a weird thing. At some fights, I will be talking about health bars, and I will be talking about some mechanics as we go through.
This is going to be like new ground for us now. We're
Yeah.
now like gamers now.
We are now gamers. I even have a gaming mic.
Everyone, watch out. Oh yeah, you've got your new mic now and everything.
If you go to the first image, you will see Cal Kestis in his
I
starting
will
poncho.
do so. I would like to see him. He is quite a handsome man. Let's have a look at him. Yeah, he is. He's a very handsome man, isn't he?
He's Cameron Monaghan. That's what the actor looks like.
He's a very handsome man. And he's got his little droid friend. I've seen the droid friend before.
Yep, we'll get to the droid friend when we get to the droid friend, but that is not now.
Okay.
As Cal
Oh no, our
climbs...
sequence broke.
Hey, gaming reference!
Yeah.
Oh, we're all gamers. As Cal climbs up the ship, we see TIE fighters and probe droids in the sky. And other ships moving scrap around. A separatist Lucahulk, which is one of the big Trade Federation brings from the first film, Episode 1, is slowly brought down from orbit, showing that no matter what side of the Clone Wars you're on, all you are now is scrap to the Empire. After they reattach the clamp, Prof takes a moment to marvel at a find, a Jedi interceptor just lying on the roof of the Star Destroyer. He tells Cal that he thinks what happened to the Jedi is a real tragedy, as they couldn't all be traitors, but Cal pushes it away, telling Prof to watch what he's saying. As they're discussing this, they don't notice a cutter at work behind them, till it's finished its drop, and the strain breaks one of the cables, causing Prof and Cal to both fall.
Uh-oh.
Cal's foot gets caught in a wire, and as Prof falls towards the mouth of the Sarlacc below, Cal reaches out and manages to slow his fall, as a probe droid watches from the distance. He manages to land Prof on a passing transport before jumping down himself. Prof is excited that he's friends with a Force user, but after Cal begs him to keep it quiet, he agrees.
Good.
On the train back after their shift, Prof again thanks Cal for what he did, recognising that he took a real risk, that he will repay Cal somehow. He also tells Cal that this planet isn't safe, and Cal confirms that he was going to head home and grab his bags ready to go. Having fallen asleep on the train, Cal wakes up, with Prof no longer next to him.
Oh no.
He gets up and sees Prof walking down the train, so he follows into the next carriage, and the next one. And as he walks down the train, the carriages get less and less full, until suddenly he opens a door, and he's inside a Venator Star Destroyer.
What?
He keeps walking down the hallways until the door won't open, and he has to turn around. He opens the door behind him.
Is this a horror game?
It is very Layers of Fear.
Yeah, it really is, actually. Not gonna lie.
He turns around and tries to open the door behind him. But it doesn't open, so he tries again, and it suddenly flies open with a massive Lasat Jedi walking towards him. If you look at image 2, you will see this guy.
Let's have a look. Oh, he is a big boy. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
So he's a big purple monkey cat guy.
He's a big purple monkey cat guy, and I love that pimp. And he's got a double-bladed lightsaber as well.
This is Joro T'Pol, Cal's master, and he lifts Cal into the air and asks him to listen carefully before giving him an order. To trust only in the Force.
A fallen order.
Jedi?
Sorry.
Dropping to the floor, Cal wakes up to find the train has stopped, and Imperial stormtroopers start unloading the passengers onto the landscape. Walking out of Prof, they are met by more troopers, these in black armour, and 2 ships fly overhead before landing. A TIE Reaper, flown by the Inquisitor Ninth Sister, a massive Darton with a mechanical leg, and a TIE Interceptor flown by another Inquisitor known as Second Sister, for one who was on Ontofo during the surrounding story in Dark Temple.
Is she the hot one?
Image 3, you will see these guys.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think she. I don't know if she's the hot one, but she might be the hot one. She has a helmet
She's
on.
wearing her mask.
Yeah.
You can kind of see Ninth behind her. I love Ninth. Ninth is a
You
great
can, yeah.
character.
Oh hell yeah. He's a big boy as well.
She is massive.
Talking, you know, like the Resident Evil lady.
Yes.
You know her? Are we talking like that massive?
No. More muscular.
Okay. Well, oh, okay. Not like big, like as in tall, like big, tall, broad.
You have a picture.
More like,
built like a square.
I mean, like, yeah. It's got like that Ben Solo build.
Yeah, definitely. Very swole.
Very swole.
With the passengers all lined up, the Second Sister reveals they are looking for a Jedi. And if they don't turn themselves in, everyone present will be executed. And this is when Prof steps forward, saying it's time for someone to step up. And he gives a speech about how he's been working on Baraka for years. And when the Empire started up, things got ruined. And the workers turned into the worked. He continues that the Empire thinks they're all expendable, to which Second Sister replies, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Before raising her hand and igniting a red blade into his chest.
Oh, damn. I mean, you know what? He was kind of asking for it.
I think this might have been him trying to repay Cal, and it backfired horribly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he was trying to like. Oh, I see what you mean. He was trying to like be like everyone, like do like an Spartacus kind of thing. You know, they can't execute us all, except you know they can.
Workers rise up. Nah, we like our jobs. I'm gonna get like 3/4 portions later.
Ooh, 3/4 portions.
3/4 portions.
You put so much more into that than I did. My God. Also, before we move on, I do need to say we've made a remarkably little fuss about the fact there's another space train here. We all love a space train.
We're about to get to more space train action.
Whoa, let's go. Okay. I love a space train.
Cal, in anger, pulls out his own lightsaber, a single blade with a wrecked-looking end, and goes for a swing at the Second Sister, which she blocks simply by igniting her second blade. She uses the Force to push him backwards into the grasp of Ninth Sister, who holds him over a cliff, pronouncing proudly, "I've got the Jedi!" Cal ignites his own lightsaber and screams, which shocks Ninth into dropping him onto a train passing below. Cal fights his way to the front of a train planning to stop it, and as he does, you learn the basics of lightsaber combat against normal stormtroopers. At this time, the only Force ability Cal has is the ability to slow things down, which is useful in combat, but makes you wonder, why can't he do anything cool? Why can't he do flips? Why can't he do pulls? Why can't he do a little lightsaber spinny thing?
His master must have been a bit shit, to be honest. Yeah, he just went, Cal, I'm going to just teach you this one thing. There's this one skill that you need your entire life as a Jedi. You need to be able to slow things down, and then that's it. That's
You need
all
to be
you
able to
need.
slow things down and to trust only in the Force.
Oh, yeah.
Those were two things. The further up the train Cal gets, the more aggressive the Empire retaliates, sending LA-AT, LE patrol gunships after him, and they shoot down the carriage Cal's on. You know, it's on like a monorail track, so it starts dangling down, and very uncharted, Cal has to climb back up. When he does, he comes face to face with one of these gunships, and it's ready to shoot, when an unknown ship takes it out and flies next to Cal.
Ooh.
The ramp of the ship opens, and a lady screams across that they're here to help, and they'll pick him up when they have an opening. If you look at image 4, you'll be able to see this ship.
Let's have a look. Ooh, it's a nice ship.
It's a really nice design.
It is a really nice design. Is this a new one for the game that they've made?
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
Emily is currently looking at this unnamed ship in flight mode, but the engine at the bottom can rotate to the side when it lands.
It kind of looks like I'm trying to be visual. I'm trying to like introduce some visual elements for the readers here who might not know what this ship like. It looks kind of like it looks like a Dyson Hoover in a way. Well, other brands exist. It looks like a Hoover, but I'm thinking of like the little like cordless Dyson Hoovers. The main body of the ship looks like the nozzle of a Hoover. It looks like I could go and like scoop up some crumbs with it. That's what it looks like.
Okay, I can kind of see what you mean.
You see it?
Kind of.
It's a Hoover.
It's a Hoover.
It's a very pretty ship, though.
Cal continues down the train, but a TIE Reaper flies overhead, bombing the track. As the train falls, the unknown ship flies in front, and Cal manages to jump to the ramp before the ship is knocked by gunfire, and Cal falls. He manages to grab onto a flying droid as he goes, which slows his landing, but as soon as he reaches the platform below, the Second Sister's TIE Interceptor lands near him.
Ooh.
As Cal stands to defend himself from the Second Sister, she recognises his stance and notes that he must have had some level of training. She asks which master died so he could live, and then they fight. The Inquisitor is clearly just tying with him, but once you get her down to half health, the ship comes and shoots the Second Sister away, and manages to get Cal on board. As they're taking off, the Second Sister runs towards him and takes a slice at the door, which burns it. The unknown woman who picked up Cal yells at the captain to fly, as the Inquisitor climbs onto the windscreen and uses the Force to wrestle the steering controls out of the pilot's hands. Luckily, the unknown woman runs into the cockpit and helps the pilot get control back, and as soon as they turn the ship any other way, the Inquisitor gets knocked off.
It's kind of a bold move.
With all that done, the captain turns to Cal, who still has his lightsaber lit, tells him to turn it off and to grab some seat. And if you go to image 5, you can see these two.
Tree down, mate. Turn it off. Nobody's impressed.
As they hit hyperspace, Cal thanks them for their help and asks who they are, and the woman introduces herself as Seer Junda.
Bum, 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 bum.
And her pilot, Alatero, is Greased Itis, who has 4 cool arms.
Yeah, he does have 4. Well, it's not. You can't see it in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have 4 cool arms. I'm sure of it.
Boy.
He's eating some sort of like. Yeah, he's a 4-arm boy. He's like that guy from Solo, right? Are they the same sort, or are they just two different?
For 2 different 4-arm boys.
Okay, great. Same sort of vibes, though. I think.
Definitely.
I do also want to say that he looks like he's eating so like when you make like jelly and then you get a fork and then you go and you make it all mush up. That is what this man is eating in this photo.
He is an amateur chef, so
is he actually?
That is something that comes up throughout the game.
Amateur isn't bad.
No, he's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
This ship is the Mantis, and it's pretty cool. It has like a cockpit. It has like a central room with like a hollow table where you can decide where to go. It has a little community area with a couch and a table. Then it has a kitchen with like a counter and some stools they can sit on. It has a little terrarium and you collect plants as you go around the galaxy. At the back it has different rooms and it has a little workbench where Cal can eventually do things with his lightsaber.
That's a good feature. The thing that I'm liking about this, being like a game, is that we have a possibility to talk about collectibles, and I love collectibles.
Spoilers, they're all ponchos.
Wait, well, you can find plants. That's all. The plants count.
Okay, yeah. We'll get to more gaming elements at the end.
Yeah.
So, Seer and Grease were monitoring Imperial communications, and heard the Inquisitors were heading to Baraka, so made their move. Cal asks, "What's the bounty on Jedi these days?" Which Grease says is a real sign of gratitude. Seer explains that he spent so long running that it must be hard for him to trust. But their mission is about more than just survival. It's about rebuilding the Jedi Order.
It's about Jedi survival. I tried. I did my best.
You did great. You can drink
Thank
every
you.
time they say survivor in the 2 games, and you would be drunk before you finish the first one.
Really, new drinking game, everyone. A 35-hour drinking game.
Let's live stream it. We'll watch. Can we condone this?
No, we can condone this. You know, there's got to be a special episode where we release the Rise of Skywalker drinking game that we played that one time.
Where we play it and do a commentary track.
Yeah.
When we make a
actually
Patreon,
would be
that'll be
up
one
for
of the
that.
rewards.
One of the tiers will be just, you know, you get access to the worst drinking game of all time.
Where was it? Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum. Hold the music, 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 hold the music. Cal asks who's going to help them rebuild the Order, and Sid reveals it's currently just them, before telling Grease to set course to the planet Bogano. Cal has a little rest, some sleeps, has a dream of Prof again, and what he said on the train, and then his death. And he wakes up to find Grease leaning over him, informing Cal that he talks in his sleep before calling him a Rido.
That's mean. He can't help that. Plenty of people talk in their sleep. You're not a weirdo for that.
Weirdo.
No, it's a really common thing to do.
Cal gets up and starts exploring the ship, picking up a haliset, which is a musical instrument, and playing a song which Seer instantly recognises because she wrote it.
What?
She realises that Cal can feel echoes in the Force from objects he touches, and says it's a rare power for Jedi. Cal asks how she knows so much, and she reveals that she was once a Jedi, and knew Cal's master, but no more.
Isn't Cal meant to only be trusting the Force right now?
Yep.
Isn't that's like the one thing? For the rest of his life, he's not allowed to interact. Actually, no, that's perfectly on canon for the Jedi.
Trust only in the Force, and also you can slow down time sometimes.
Also, if you need to, just slow down time. Perfect get out of jail free card.
Cal explains that during the Purge, he lost his connection to the Force. Anytime he meditates, he fears he could fall back into that moment. And Seer cuts him off and lets him know that he is not alone. Grease informs him about to arrive at their destination. They land on Bogano, a green planet in the Outer Rim, covered in wetlands and canyons.
Ooh.
Seer explains that a Jedi she knew found this planet before the Purge, and that it's not on any maps, so they should be safe from the Empire for now. Cal asks if they're going to hide, and Seer tells him they're done hiding. She then points at a tall structure, a vault, in the distance. It has a challenge inside that you need the Force to complete, and Cal reasons that as she's not a Jedi anymore, she can't do it.
Therefore they need somebody.
Yep. And he's the sucker they got.
Yeah.
Seer tells Cal that it makes sense they don't trust each other, but they have a common enemy, and then sends him to find someone on the planet she thinks he should meet. The planet is covered in wildlife, a lot of it deadly, but some species friendly, including the Boglin. They're a small furry creature that burrows into tunnels and can bounce around, with a big squirrel tail, bird legs, and the face of a lemur with big ears.
Oh my god, do we have a picture of them?
No.
I'm googling it.
You can Google it, though.
I'm googling it. I want to see them.
I know you like my wildlife corner, so I've tried to include a few.
That was very descriptive, thank you. Oh my god, I've just seen him. Oh, he's so cute.
So there's many of these guys around.
They're so stupid looking.
They're
amazing.
Cuties.
They're cuties. I love them.
As Cal walks around the planet, he is approached by a small droid called BD-1, who asks him what he's doing. Cal replies that he's looking for someone. When BD asks if it's him, Cal replies that he thinks he's looking for a Jedi, and BD says he can lead him to the person he's after.
Ooh.
But he runs off and Cal has to follow.
List of people Cal has trusted thus far. a random stranger who says that she definitely knew his master. Some guy with 4 arms who's eating like crushed up jelly, and a random droid that he met on the street.
But we can trust Seer because we read Dark Temple.
I mean, yeah, but also, like, don't get me wrong, I liked her a lot in that, but also, like, she did exhibit some tendencies to be a bit, questionable in judgment, shall we say?
Mm-hmm. That's very fair. We make it to a workshop where BD is attacked by a worm with legs called a bog rat. Cal quickly dispatches it with his blade,
Oh no.
but after seeing BD is hurt, he takes him to a workbench and fixes him up. This workbench belonged to the Jedi, but he's nowhere to be seen. So they continue on, and Cal, being the idiot he is, tries to cut through an electrified wire and ends up getting zapped back, and BD throws missed impact to heal him up. They kind of hit each other, and that's how their bond forms.
Aw,
They keep
quite
going,
sweet.
and Cal sees some lizards running across the walls, which flashes him back to a Jedi training room. He is a child, complete with Padawan braid, and his master watches over the training room from a command deck up top.
Child.
One thing I love about these flashbacks is it goes from a PS4 game graphics to like PS3 game graphics.
Oh,
And like
that's really adorable,
the
actually.
character models all are like less detailed. It's just
Oh,
a really cool little thing which I
that's a
enjoy.
fun stylistic choice.
It's one of those meta elements which makes the flashbacks like really nostalgic in a way they shouldn't be.
Mm. Like, they're kind of trying to be like, hey, here's like, this is the sequel to a game that you never played, you know?
Yep.
That sort of thing. That's quite sweet.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Cal's master in his flashback teaches him to wall run, and now Cal can get to the big structure.
He's really like, he's really, this is the funny thing, because like, it's a game, so it has to be like this. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I always find it really funny when in games they do this thing where they're just like, this person knew how to do these things all along. They just are kind of a bit stupid, and they just kind of like forgot, and then they have to be like, they have to have their memory jogged as they go
Mm-hmm.
along, and then they're just like, ah, yes, that's how I need to do this thing that I was taught how to do.
I like it because it allows him to tell an interesting story but with Cal, and the idea that like basically his trauma is what's blocking him from remembering how to use the Force is
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
At the ancient vault, Cal uses the Force to open the door and walks down into a room with 2 closed hatches, 3 tall guys with big heads carved into the walls, and a metal plate in the centre. Out of the metal plate, BD starts to project an image of Master Eno Cordova.
Whoa, he's back.
He's back! Charles in the print room is back!
Charles in the front room. The inheritor of the John Lennon voice. He's returned.
BD was Cordova's droid, but when they parted, he left some encrypted logs to help whoever came next.
Ah.
Cordova reveals that the vault they were in is built by a society called the Zepho, who he describes as a vanished civilization.
Fallen Order, you might say.
While meditating in this very vault, he saw a vision of a fall of the Jedi, and because of this, he hid a holocron with a list of Force-sensitive children in this vault's inner sanctum. To get to it, Cal must follow Cordova's path to go to 3 hidden tombs and learn how the Zepho saw the Force.
Interesting. So where did he have this list from?
Cordova?
Yeah, where did he get this list of the Force sensitive kids? Because I'm like, my guy, you better have had a good reason to have this random list of a bunch of kids' names.
Oh, so this list just exists. It's a carryover from the Clone Wars TV show, and it's
okay.
how the Jedi found new Jedi, basically. But like had an algorithm which told them where the Force sensitives were going to pop up,
Really?
and they'd send Sneakers out to pick them up.
I had no idea.
It's never really explained how they get the information, but
Yeah.
it's just a thing that exists in the universe.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. I always thought that they kind of just like ran across these kids and then they were just like, you!
at one point, Cad Bane steals this holocron.
Ooh.
Well, not this one. This is like a copy of that holocron.
Interesting.
Because Eno saw the purge coming and wanted to try and save a future. And the fact that I say this is a copy of it is, in fact, some foreshadowing on a force cast.
Foreshadowing. It's back.
It's our favourite segment. Bum.
Segment.
After this holo finishes, BD reveals that he also can't remember his adventures with Cordova.
Oh.
And it's another similarity between him and Cal. They both have a block stopping them from remembering all of their past. Cal is sent to Zepho, a planet where Eno says he'll find peace in the eyes of a storm. Cal concedes that it
High
seems...
Republic, something.
Cal concedes that BD obviously was a person he was meant to meet, sitting down next to him, and tells BD that he's been alone for a long time, and that's no way for a Jedi to live, and asks BD to join him on his adventure.
Jedi love being alone, though.
Not all Jedi. Hashtag not all
No,
Jedi.
but like, hashtag not my Jedi. But like, they love that shit. The slightest hint of trouble, and they're just like, well, guess that's it for me socially, you know?
Jedi love attachments. That's the one thing I know about Jedi.
It's almost like it's a part of I'm gonna say human for lack of a better word, even though I know, this whole thing encompasses many alien races.
Yep.
It's almost like that. It's a natural human thing to want to form attachments to things, and what they're doing is incredibly unnatural.
One of our famous tangents, I recently finished the third Rogue Squadron book, which is a Legends book, and in that there's a court case, and someone describes an issue in the case as being down to human error, and Amal Akbar, who is like the judge of the case, asks, and can you describe to me, a non-human, what human error is?
That's a really weird distinction to put in place, That is very, very strange. I know that like a human is like it refers to like the human race, but like I feel like in like a common language and stuff where everyone says, oh, it's human error or something like that, a human is just like a person, in that sort of sense. It's very strange.
In the Star Wars galaxy, human is also a species.
It is, and it is, but like I don't know, in the way that like our language is in the real world, that's kind of like a weird meshing of things because we wouldn't say anything different. We would only say that's human error. It's just a strange thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We don't really have an alternative for it. This is a weird tangent. I'm sorry.
It's fine. We love weird tangents.
Weird tangent.
On their return to Mantis, Cal and BD end up fighting a giant three-eyed frog. They go via a little shack, and inside they find a painting of a red planet that BD scans to reveal another holo of Cordova. This time talking about planet Dathomir, and wondering why the Zepho wants to go to a planet so dark.
Ooh.
Back at Mantis, Seer welcomes Cal and BD, but Grease is a little scared of BD. BD jumps onto the sofa, and Grease chases him off, and asks Cal to tell him that he found something better than BD.
Me?
Cal tells Seer about the holocron, and this is when it's revealed to him that Cordova was her master. Grease asks what holocron is, and it's explained that it's like an information storage device which only the Force can open. And she has one lying around, passes it to Cal, he opens it up, and inside plays Obi-Wan Kenobi's message warning about the fall of the Republic.
Ooh.
The Jedi Order has fallen. If
you're
hearing this, run and hide. Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. First cameo. Sure. No. I forgot. Sorry.
Hello there.
This is technically. Hello there. This is like the third cameo.
Mm-hmm. It's meant to be counted as a cameo. We have got a few cameos coming up, but I wouldn't count any of these as cameos besides the Kenobi one. Seer hopes that with the holocron they'll be able to train a new generation of Jedi to fight the Empire. And Cal tells his crew that to get the holocron, they will need to follow Cordova's path.
Dun dun dun.
Before they continue, Cal asks Seer why she no longer uses the Force, and she answers that she had an experience which changed her perspective.
Ah.
She says that she thinks rebuilding the Order will be the best way to fight the Empire, and Cal says himself and BD are in. And Grease asks the question, does the player want to go to Dathomir or Zepho next?
It's very interesting that it's like, we're having to go into player choice now on the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of like that. It's like I know that like quite often decisions like this in games can be a little bit shallow and stuff, and things tend to just like roundabout head back to where they always should be going and stuff. But it's nice to have a little bit of input on the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like we're doing a choose your own adventure book.
Yep. So, just to pull the curtain back at this point, this game is kind of a Metroidvania. So if you go to Dathomir, you'll hit a roadblock fairly quickly. But there's also a chance to get a late game item early.
Ooh.
For this reason, you do get some story in Dathomir before, which we're going to get later on. But just to follow the story on the quickest path, we're going to go to Zepho first.
Nice.
So Zepho is a water-rich planet covered in snowy mountains and lakes. As Mantis comes into orbit, they find a storm raging overhead, but Cal tells Grease there's a settlement in the storm's eye, and that's where Cordova told them to go. Although it's a struggle going through the winds, Grease manages to get them landed on a pad, and celebrates by saying, "Greasy money, baby."
Wait. Time out. Is
Yep.
that canon?
Yep.
This man lands this ship and then says, "Greasy money, baby."
Yeah, the character Grease says, "Greasy money, baby."
I don't know what to say. I've very rarely been made speechless.
That's why I add in these little sayings.
You said that so casually as well, like it wasn't going to change my life in some way, but it has.
It's because I've
Easy
played.
money, baby.
It's because in the last month I've played Fallen Order twice and Survivor, so I am numb to Grease at this point.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear he makes an appearance in the sequel. Does he show up like in the middle of the movie, like Morbius, and go "Greasy money, baby" during like a pivotal scene?
He comes in and he kills Darth Vader. Spoilers for Jedi Survivor. That doesn't happen.
And then afterwards he just goes, "Oh, well, you know, greasy money, baby."
I guess he won't be grabbing any seats.
Way. Oh, incredible.
As Cal leaves the ship, Seer tells him there's no comms. But that doesn't stop him. It turns out that the Imperial War Machine is here in full strength, with bases and troops everywhere.
Uh-oh.
The Empire shipped the locals off to work camps, as they wanted the land, for something called Project Augur, which was a mining mission which the Emperor himself commissioned.
Oh, Augur is... Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. I was like, Augur?
This isn't some outsourced job. This is the Emperor himself has interests on this planet.
Ooh. Love it, palps.
As Cal continues to look around the planet, Seer warns the Empire have learned of his location, and they start sending troops after him. Cal finds no evidence the Empire knew Cordova was here, and makes it to the top of a mountain where he finds the entrance to the first tomb, belonging to the Zepho stage Ilrim. The storm rages at the top of this mountain, stopping the Empire from getting close as it messes with their equipment, and Cal goes in an elevator and gets taken underground to the tomb, which is giant caverns filled with Zepho tech. There are some puzzles, which include the wind, which the Zepho managed to manipulate.
Just
The wind from
wait,
the
how
storm.
is? Oh, okay, the wind from the storm. I'd forgotten there was a storm, and I was just like, wait, whose wind? Whose wind is this?
It turns out the Zepho called the force itself the life wind. So this temple being very wind orientated kind of links into that.
They're doing like a Zelda thing where like they have like a temple for like each like element, you know? And this is like the wind
Yes.
temple.
Yeah, it works. I'd say these games are like Zelda inspired.
I like that for them. And that's going to drive our clicks up because we've mentioned a hot topic.
I was gonna say it's Zelda meets Dark Souls, but Dark Souls itself is very Zelda inspired.
Oh my
So,
god, it's the Dark Souls of Star Wars games.
so there are meditation points throughout the game which are like campfires. You
Oh
go
my
there,
god.
you can heal up, but when you heal, it also respawns the enemies in the area.
It is the Dark Souls of Star Wars game. No
Yes,
joke.
it's very Dark Souls inspired.
Okay. No, I like it.
So, Hollow Cordova tells Cal that this temple is the oldest Zephyr building he's found yet. As Cal continues to explore the temple, he runs into some ancient metal droids, humanoid with round heads, that shoot lasers out of their chests.
Wait, are these the guys? Are these
They're
the
the
guys from Dark
guys.
Temple?
They're guys from
Yeah!
Dark Temple, and Cal manages
I
to
love the
take them
guys.
down.
Hell yeah.
Finally, at the centre of the tomb, there's a stone tablet, which Cal touches, and it takes him into a force vision. And in the force vision, he is chasing down the tablet, which keeps getting blown away. But as it's getting blown, fragments fall off and hit him. After a few hits,
Uh-oh.
Cal is transported back again to the Jedi training room, and his master tells him that the obstacle in his path defined the path, and that what stands in the way becomes the way, teaching Cal how to use Force Push.
Yo!
With this connection to his trauma healed, Cal manages to get to the tablet easily, and Hollow Cordova tells him that the walls in this part of the temple come from a piece of bark from a warsha tree found only on Kashyyyk, and he is certain that Chieftain Tarful, a friend to the Jedi, would know more.
A friend to the Jedi.
A friend to the Jedi. Tarful in episode 3 is the big black Wookiee who is like homies with Yoda.
Oh, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is a friend to the Jedi.
He's a
Also,
friend to the Jedi.
this guy is a friend to the Jedi, as opposed to Thrawn, who is the heir to the Jedi. No, he's not. He's the heir to the Empire. Fuck.
Luke is the heir to the Jedi.
Luke is the heir to the Jedi. I was too busy thinking about the fact that his name sounded like Thrawn, and my brain was just going Thrawn, and it was like trying to connect the dots, but the dots just were all over the place.
Tarfron.
Tarthron. Oh, it's close enough. He's an heir to something.
Cal overcomes, tells Sir of his discoveries. We need to go to Kashyyyk. And as Cal leaves the temple, he finds the Empire scouting outside and asks BD if they managed to lead them here. On his way back to the ship, Cal finds a massive underground mining facility, and he fights through it, just in time to find the Mantis under fire from an ATST. Luckily, in this game they're greasy sauce, and after a few swipes to the legs, they fall down.
Greasy sauce.
Back on the Mantis, Grease praises Cal for his moves, and Cal gives him all the info on what he's found. Explains that the Zepho were an advanced civilization, most of them were Force users, and Seer understands why Cordova was so obsessed with them. When Cal tells Grease they need to go to Kashyyyk, Grease is against it because the Empire have hit that planet hard, using Wookiees as labour.
Yeah, we hate to see it.
They manage to convince him to go there still though, and Seer tells Cal that he seems more confident, asking how his connection to the Force is going. Cal says he'd rather not talk about it, and Seer says she understands. After a
He really should
purge,
mind your own business.
and Seer said, okay, I'll trauma dump instead.
Yeah. So he was like, damn, I'm not your therapist.
After a purge, Seer and her Padawan, Trilla, managed to escape their clone troopers with some younglings. An Imperial patrol was about to find them, so Seer left Trilla with the younglings to try and lead them away. They caught Seer and tortured her for information on Cordova, but Seer managed to escape the prison in a riot. Cal asks if Trilla survived, and Seer replies that she didn't, and that her sacrifice can't be for nothing. As they take off, BD beeps and Grease has a go about how he can't understand what BD says, and he doesn't get why people have droids. Seer informs Grease
droid racist.
that BD can understand him, and Grease is instantly apologetic, saying that droids freak him out.
He's a droid racist. We need to cancel Grease now.
Seer literally says that Grease is acting like an Imperial, as they just deactivate droids for no reason whatsoever, and says that, as a droid, BD has the right to stand against him with us.
Yeah. Elfrey would be proud.
And after that, Grease looks at BD and says, you know what? You're right. And they arrive at Kashyyyk, a planet covered in jungle, homes for Wookiees, currently orbited by an Imperial blockade. Cal asks Seer how they're going to get past the blockade, and Seer tells him that they have an Imperial transponder signal, so they should be fine. As they fly into a Star Destroyer, Cal goes to hit some ship controls, but Grease shoots him away, saying he doesn't need another pair of hands, which is hilarious because he already has 2 pairs of hands.
I was going to say, yeah, he definitely doesn't. He's good. He's good on that front. Why is Grease the best Star Wars character?
Grease is like everyone's Star Wars OC, and I love it.
Great.
As they get past the blockade, Seer says that they're distracted by something on the ground. As the Mantis enters orbit, it flies over a jungle dotted with Imperial facilities towards the biggest tree on the planet, and into a war zone. Wookiees and off-world fighters are taking on an Imperial convoy, and Cal reasons that Tarful could be with them, to which Grease counters that Tarful could be literally anywhere. But Cal...
I mean, fair.
Cal thinks that these fighters will die without his help, so they open the Mantis' ramp, and Cal jumps down into a lake, just as AT-ATs emerge from the water.
Oh no.
As the AT-ATs have been underwater for a while, they have some plant life on them, so Cal manages to climb up one and get inside it. He quickly kills the troopers inside the main building and moves into its head, where BD jumps onto the dashboard, getting the attention of the 2 pilots, as Cal smashes their helmets together, knocking them out. Cal then gets in the AT-AT's controls and shoots down the remaining walker.
Nice job, Cal.
He then takes his walker inland, shooting stormtroopers on the ground. At this point, a grappling hook attaches to him, and a man pulls himself onto the windscreen and asks who Cal is. Cal says that he's someone who's bringing an AT-AT to the table, and asks who this man is. This man replies that he's someone making the Empire very angry. He says there's a landing pad up ahead, they could use an AT-AT's cover to take it, so Cal assists in shooting down a shuttle that's trying to escape. Unfortunately, when the shuttle was about to explode, it starts crashing towards the AT-AT and knocks it down, but Cal and BD manage to get out unscathed, because they're main characters.
Yeah, they got that plot armor.
The man walks over to them, jokingly annoyed that they destroyed a perfectly good walker that he could have used, and introduces himself as Saw Gerrera.
What? Oh my god, cameo 4.
He explains that he's on Kashyyyk to interrupt the Imperial supply lines, and asks Cal what he's doing there, before warning him that Tarful is impossible to find.
Fucking guy, Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera, he appears everywhere.
I know, but I just like to see him.
Saw Gerrera, voiced by Forrest Whitaker.
He's like my dad, and it's great when he shows up somewhere.
Saw Gerrera is your dad. It's canon.
I don't know why I said that exactly. I don't know why. He just feels kind of like my dad.
Is it because he abandoned his daughter at the age of 16?
Oof. Okay, maybe. Jesus Christ. Okay, moving swiftly onwards.
As for Mantis lands, sorry. you want me to cut that one, or?
No, you can keep it. I'll clarify for the readers. That's a dramatization. My dad didn't leave me when I was 16. He's not so correct.
Sadly, he's not that cool.
No, he really isn't.
As for Mantis lands and Seer gets out, Saw tells Cal the admiration he has for Tarful, and that he's working from the Shadowlands, making the Empire angry, before asking Cal what he wants with him. Cal replies with his Jedi business, and Saw responds by saying the Jedi are all dead. And Cal replies, not all of them, before holding out his lightsaber. Saw asks what corpse he got it off, and Cal tells him he got it from his master. Saw tells Mantis crew he's going to take down a refinery nearby which is using Wookiee labour, that he could use a hand. Maybe one of the prisoners will know Tarful. Cal agrees and Saw goes to prep the attack, but Seer doesn't trust Saw.
Why not? He's like my dad. Come on now.
You'll find that in canon very few people trust Saw.
Am I an outlier?
Yep.
I don't know. He just seems very friendly. You know. I know he's kind of a questionable individual, but he just kind of feels like my dad. You know?
Are we not friends? Saw to everyone he meets.
To literally everyone he meets, including Sia now.
Saw to the Death Star. Are we not friends?
Oh god.
Saw tells Cal they're attacking a sap refinery, and asks Cal to free Wookiee prisoners with his lightsaber, while he creates a distraction. Once in the base, he comes face to face with a Purge Trooper, and manages to defeat it. Thanks to Saw using tree cutters to break the base, the wildlife is getting in, including some exploding fire beetles and some giant spiders.
Hell yeah.
Which is helping keep the Empire distracted. Cal gets to the Wookiee prisoners and promises to free them, going over to a panel and just pressing some buttons, and behind him you see two eyes light up, and a KX security droid walk up and just grab him, throwing him to the floor.
Oh, no.
This is one of the K2SO type guys.
Ooh, yes.
Cal manages to take it down, but it's one of the hardest fights in the game to this point besides bosses, and Cal frees the Wookiees, getting a hug out of it. There are still more to save. Cal continues to fight through a building and eventually frees all the prisoners.
He gets a hug from a Wookiee?
He gets a Wookiee hug.
He gets a Wookiee hug. I'm so jealous. God, I wish that was me.
He gets to the roof of a building, fighting the Imperial reinforcements, including another ATST and a bunch of KX droids. After the facility is liberated, Saw makes a speech to his men, and Saw tries to recruit Cal to his cause, but Cal says he has his own mission to do now, and can't yet. Cal then meets a partisan called Mari Kosan, and a Wookiee called Triosk, who will look for Tarful, and Mari will let Cal know when a meeting's been arranged. Cal gets a transport back to the landing pad, and during his journey, he gets a message from Seer saying that Project Augur has been reactivated, and the Imps think they've found another Zepho tomb.
Uh-oh.
As they leave the planet, Cal asks BD if he thinks Saw will be okay, and BD replies optimistically. Grease says he can also be a positive guy, and gives the example of being positive that if he dies, he'll be upset.
Thanks, Grease.
Grease also says it's a shame they're leaving so soon, as he heard about a high-stakes card game for partisans, and Seer scolds him they don't need any more killer syndicates like the Haxian Brood coming after them. Grease apologises and says he just wants to blow off some steam.
Yeah, let the man live. Oh.
Back on Zepho, Cal leaves Mantis and finds the Empire have given up ground, which he assumes, on one hand, is to put maximum force into finding the tomb, but on the other hand, doesn't feel right, as it's not like the Empire to let go of something once they've got it. Due to certain doors being shut, Cal is herded towards an Imperial base. And as he approaches, he sees a shuttle leaving, which Seer, who's monitoring the Imperial comms, tells him is transferring artifacts to Coruscant.
Ooh.
Cal makes his way through the Imperial facility with little issue, taking out a few Purge troopers. It's fairly easy.
As you do, Cash.
And he gets to a lake near a second tomb, which has a crashed Venator Star Destroyer in it. The locals created a shrine to honour the dead clone troopers, which Cal has some opinions on, as you can imagine.
I mean, yes.
Past the Venator are some Imperial mines which lead underground. Cal fights his way down the lift, heading to the bottom layer. When the lift doors open, he comes face to face with a second sister, who now knows he is Cal Kestis, and knows he is after the holocron.
Uh-oh.
She asks where Cordova put it, and Cal lights his lightsaber. This time, there's an actual fight. The second sister is actually more of a bit of a challenge. But after getting her to half health, the second sister picks Cal up and throws him to the ground, going for the killing strike. Luckily, Beta manages to raise a force field between them, stopping the fatal blow.
She really doesn't like being taken to half health, does she?
No. As they now can't fight each other, the second sister decides to monologue at Cal, telling him that she's seen an improvement since their last meet, and notes that Seer's last apprentices were more gifted. Cal asks if she's been keeping count, and Beakrista replies that she's shocked Seer didn't tell him. She was never good with secrets. She even gave up her apprentice's location to the Imperials while in the torture chair, allowing them to find her. And if you go to the next image in the pack, you will see the second sister unmasked, revealing that she is Trilla.
Whoa! She's like the hot one! Yeah!
I'm a massive Trilla stan. Like, Trilla, mwah,
so
notes.
Cool. Mwah.
She also has a very nice, crisp British accent.
Ooh. Lovely. I didn't know that she was Trilla. I just knew that she was the cool lady that people like to cosplay as and look very cool doing so.
She is Seer's ex-apprentice.
That's very, very... that's interesting.
Cal says he won't be manipulated, but Trilla tells him that Seer chooses self-interest every time, and that she'll sell Cal out. She says that Seer used the dark side after seeing Trilla as she is now, and she embraced it. She then asks if Jaro Tapul would be proud to see his Padawan giving the future of the Jedi over to a traitor. Cal tells her that he'll protect the kids, and Trilla, walking away, tells him that she once thought the same. Deep underground, Cal finds the next tomb in a cavern, the tomb of Mikril, and it looks almost exactly the same as the tomb on Tofo. So we can make the link for that was a Zephu tomb if the robots didn't give it away, and that's why Cordova is so obsessed with the culture.
Oh.
So now you get your answers about what is in the Dark Temple.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what that Dark Temple was.
That's what that Dark Temple was.
I always wanted to know what that Dark Temple was. Now I know.
But what was the Dark Temple?
It was that place that the place that Paul McCartney wanted to break into.
John, I just got to get into the Dark Temple, John.
Oh no!
I've got to get into that Dark Temple.
Into that Dark Temple.
John, we've got to get into the Dark Temple.
Why is it just John? Why don't the others matter to him?
Ringo, they've got the yellow submarine.
They're gonna put it in the Dark Temple. Fucking hell. They've gone and put the Dark Temple into the yellow submarine.
As Cal enters the Dark Temple, he gets Seer up in the hollow and tells her that he met Trilla and asks why she kept it a secret. A voice replies it's because Seer is a liar, and Trilla reveals that she has hacked their comms.
Whoa!
She then tells Cal that her troops have already found the artifact and that she is on her way to examine it now. As Cal goes through the temple, the Inquisitor continues to goad him, but he assures her that she'll never understand what she finds. He finally makes it to where she claimed the artifact was, on a giant hanging sarcophagus belonging to the Zepho Sage, the temple was built for. And he climbs onto it, just in time to find out it was a trap. The Imperials destroy the chains holding the sarcophagus up, dropping it and Cal to the floor, and Cal has another flashback to his Jedi training, this time learning how to use the Force to pull things.
Oh, okay.
Using
He's
this
kind
skill...
of doing things a bit backwards, I think.
How so?
Usually, like pulling things and lifting things is the first thing that you learn. And I would say that slowing time down is like a little bit more advanced than that.
That's weird, because I always thought the first thing you learned was to trust only in the Force.
He hasn't learned it at all because he's trusting people and not the Force.
Trust only in the Force, and anyone else.
So we're going into a dark temple.
Using his new skill, he managed to save himself. And he continues into the temple. Trilla is surprised he survived, but assures him that she's made contingencies. At the centre of the temple, BD gives another vlog from Cordova, where he explains that he knows how to open the Volton Borgano using a device called an astrium. Cal leaves the temple, raising it to the surface, and Trilla thanks him for making it accessible before cutting the comm communication. Cal asks BD to fix it so they can talk to the Mantis again, but all they get is static, so he assumes something must be wrong. Rushing back to the ship, he's ambushed by a bounty hunter in a fight you mechanically can't win without getting knocked out.
Oh, great.
Normally, when you die in this game, you get the big letters saying respawn, which is great marketing considering the studio made the game.
Yeah, right.
But this time, it says reawaken. And so you do.
Ooh.
You reawaken. In a cell, no lightsaber, no BD. Using the Force, Cal is able to pull out a power cable and open the door, walking throughout the prison he's in. He can't find anyone else who speaks basic, with most cells holding for wildlife that Cal's been fighting on the different planets. After a while, Cal finds his droid bunny.
His droid bunny.
After a while, Cal finds his droid buddy in the biggest cell with some destroyed droids. Cal breaks in and takes a frustrating bolt, and together they get an elevator to work and ride it upwards. As they rise, music grows. The same song Cal was listening to the opening, and he exclaims, "I recognise this band." They walk out into an arena, with a rowdy crowd surrounding them, and a giant hologram in front. The holo introduces itself. "I'm Sark Tamo, baby, the leader of this operation. You have greasy forearms to thank for bringing us together." And Cal's bitter, "Oh, I will." Sork then gets Cal throwing his lightsaber and brings out some of the most dangerous creatures he fought in some challenging combinations. When Cal kills them all, one of the best fighters of Haxian Brood, and the one who brought Cal in, is the next mini-boss. And when he is killed, the Mantis comes crashing through the roof of the arena, and Cal rushes aboard as they take off. Cal's first words when he's back aboard is that Grease is famous down there. And he lets Sin know that the Empire is after the holocron. And that he had a nice talk with Trilla. Seer confirms some of what Trilla said, but not that she turned Trilla over. But before Cal can push for more, they get a message from Mari. She's found Turfall, but the refinery has been lost again to the Empire, and Saw has fled the planet. With their next objective confirmed,
just like my dad,
Cal and Seer agree to put their issues aside as they head to Kashyyyk. I remember when you were 16 and your dad fled the planet.
It was a really, really tough time for me, okay? Oh, God.
Cal has a rest, but is woken up again by Grease leaning over him, who seems to love it when Cal sleeps.
I mean, checks out.
Grease tries to talk Cal into forgiving Seer, He recognizes that she made some mistakes, and, together they could have got Cal killed. But
Yes.
he tells Cal that they all make mistakes, and that Sid deserves his trust.
But he's meant
He
to trust only in the
continues.
Force.
He continues before Cal and Seer, all he ever cared about was money, but now things are different. They're better.
Oh, Greed's redemption arc.
From this part of the game, Haxion Brute bounty hunters randomly spawn and attack Cal as challenging fights. None of these are story related, so I won't mention them, but they are a thing.
They're a thing. We know of them.
Basically, the narrative is that the Haxion Brood are after you.
Okay.
So you've gone back to Kashyyyk, and on the landing pad, Cal finds a Force Echo, with Trilla killing the remaining partisans to find him. Cal rushes back through the Imperial refinery and into the forest behind. Murray messages him to let him know they're at the rendezvous site, but can't stay for long as the Empire is closing in. Cal continues behind the refinery and into the Shadowlands, which is found on the forest floor under the massive origin tree, one of the biggest and oldest trees on the planet. Cal makes a meeting and talks to Tarful with Murray translating as he can't speak She-Rook. He explains that he's on a mission for Cordova, and Tarful tells him that Cordova found what he was looking for at the top of the tree. Cal works his way up, but during his journey, he reflects on leading the Inquisitors to this planet, and asks BD if he's endangered everyone again. As he nears the top of his path, he is cut off by a TIE Reaper, the Ninth Sisters.
Whoa.
She tells Cal that the Grand Inquisitor told that he wouldn't be dumb enough to return to this planet, but she loves it when he's wrong. And she shoots the ground from under him, causing him to fall back down the tree under constant fire by the Reaper. When it seems like he's about to get killed, a giant bird attacks the ship, knocking it out of sight. Cal, now back on the ground layer, has to work his way up again through a different route. He considers calling a Mantis at this point, but he doesn't want to risk it as he knows their comms have been hacked once before. As he continues up the tree, he has another training flash and learns how to do a double jump. And with this, he gets up to a point where he finds the bird that helped him. The bird is a Shio, and it's a big bird.
Big boy.
It has a beak which covers its eyes like a mask.
Oh.
It has 2 antlers, and its wings are covered in clear feathers.
How does that work?
Kind of like dragonfly feathers, but they're dragonfly wings, but they're feathers.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
And currently, this bird has a piece of ship debris sticking out of it. Cal manages to calm a bird and uses the Force to pull the debris out, and then gets BD to give the creature a stem, and it offers Cal a lift up to the top.
Bird friend.
Flying over the planet, Cal takes solace in knowing there's still a lot of the planet which the Empire hasn't touched yet. At the top of a tree, Holo Cordova says he's found an astrium, but because he took it, it means that it's not there for Cal to find. Cordova continues that he's happy about this, because it means he doesn't have to go back to get the one on Dathomir, a place he always found hard to navigate due to its dark nature.
Cool.
And Cal knows
That's what we're
what
going.
he must do.
Thanks, old man.
He leaves, and Bashir comes back to give him a lift down, but before he can mount it, it gets shot by the TIE Reaper.
No!
Knife jumps down and says that she doesn't see why Sekhem finds Cal so important, and they start to fight. Cal manages to get the advantage and chops off one of Knife's hands.
I'm sad about the bird still, not gonna lie.
He tells her it's over, but she used the Force to grab her saber and pull it back into her other hand. And if you go to image 7, you can now get a better look at Ninth.
Nice. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, she cool.
Yeah. Ninth tells Cal that she was once a Jedi, and she could bring him in and watch him break, along with those children. Cal says he won't let her touch the children, and she says that Cal can't stop the Empire, to which he replies, "I can stop you," before using the Force to throw her out the tree. Amazed he took down an Inquisitor, Fashio comes back for him, and then he gets back to
Oh,
Mantis, no issue.
that's
Just in time for
okay.
dinner. Grease has done some cooking, it's all served up, we have a nice family meal, and we have a conversation.
Family meal.
Grease asks Cal how it was on there, and Cal tells him it's bad. But the second sister didn't catch up. He then drops in, yeah, I also defeated the ninth sister, which causes a bit of silence. And at this point, Grease starts putting salt on his food. Seer tells Cal that when she was captured, at first she tried to resist, but eventually broke and gave him Triller. She wants to save the kids on the holocron to help pay her debts. But Cal tells her it's okay. The ninth sister saw becoming an Inquisitor as an inevitability. But Seer shows, there's hope for all of them. He gets up and tells her that he's going to find that holocron. At this moment, Grease stops putting salt on his food. And his dinner gets scanned by BD, and he tries to, shoo him away. This is like a really tense emotional scene where Seer is, speaking her truth. It's about
Yeah.
2 minutes long, and every time I watch it, I'm just distracted by how much salt Grease is putting on his meal.
Grease, you're ruining the ambiance. Well, you know what they say, that's just greasy money, that is.
Greasy money, baby. Dathomir is a red planet under a red sun. It's covered in red fauna, and it's a place of strength for the dark side. It's home for people like Darth Maul, Asajj Ventress, and Savage Opress.
Some good characters.
As they land, Grease tells everyone that when they arrive, he's staying in the ship, as he doesn't trust the red sunlight. While Seer tells the story of the Night Sisters, a collection of witches who use the dark side of the Force, and how in the Clone Wars made a bad deal with the Sith, which led to them almost being wiped out. And for more information on that, if you watch some Clone Wars episodes, you can see all of this. There's a lot of Dathomir in that show.
This isn't a foreshadow. This is Sam genuinely begging you to watch the Clone Wars, please.
Look, I haven't really considered how we're going to handle Clone Wars in this show yet.
Clone Wars is going to take like at least 10 episodes. Surely. You're going to want to talk for miles and miles about the Clone Wars, and I want to let you. What can I say?
I know I keep dropping it, but if we get a Patreon, maybe we can do we can do watch-alongs, but we need an audience base for that. So please tell your friends about this show.
Yeah,
that'd be some real greasy money.
Some real greasy money. Don't forget to smash that like button while you're at it.
This new microphone doesn't pay for itself yet.
Gonna need that greasy money.
Cal goes out onto the planet, and Seer warns him that this is a dark place, and even the strongest Jedi can lose his way. To which he replies he's not Triller, and heads out. Too soon, Cal.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? For one thing, saying that to Seer is like really mean, and for another thing, that's kind of mean to Triller as well.
She just spoke her truth to you, and this is how you repay her, by throwing it back in her face.
Yeah, that's really mean, Cal. And also, like, what happens to Triller is kind of tragic in a way as well. Like, come on, Cal.
She was a child who got tortured and turned to the dark side, my dude.
Read the fucking room, Cal! Jesus Christ! Put on the poncho of empathy.
Speaking of dark side ladies,
Wait.
I like that joke about poncho of empathy. Speaking of dark side ladies, on the planet, Cal soon finds an abandoned village, along with proof that the Zepho were on this world. As BD is scanning, a Night Sister appears before Cal in a burst of green fire, calling him a trespasser. Cal tries to make friends, but she summons a pair of Zabraks.
Didn't go
Despite
well.
Cal saying he's not her enemy, she turns him into fighting mode before disappearing again. And Cal has to fight through a bunch of Night Brothers to get to the Zepho tomb. If you go to image 8, you will see the Night Sister.
I will. Oh, she's cool as hell. She's so cool. This game has really cool women. Just saying.
Yep, it has really cool characters.
Yeah.
As he nears the entrance of the tomb of Kujet, the third and final Zepho tomb, he runs into a figure in a black cloak who welcomes him and takes interest in his lightsaber.
Darth Maul.
The stranger calls himself a traveller who studies many things.
Oh.
And when Cal asks him about the tomb, he warns the Night Brothers were seduced by what lays within, and tells Cal to avoid it if he knows what's best. So of course Cal continues towards it.
I don't like this accent that we're doing. No, I love the accent. I should say that. I just don't like the vibes of this accent for who this person is.
This guy is just standing on a bridge in a black cloak. Like at the side, so not even in the middle, just at the side. And as Cal was, oh, hello, is that a lightsaber at your belt? Oh, don't worry about me. I'm just a traveller who studies many things. And I think you'll be a fool to go towards that temple over there. Why don't you stay here with me and we can compare notes on what we've been finding on our travels?
No, I don't think so, mate. I think we're good.
He has quite a low-mannered voice, and he has a very sporadic speaking pattern where he goes slow and then he speeds up.
I don't like that. That's possibly the least trustworthy man ever.
It's creepily quite similar to how Sam Witwer sometimes does Darth Maul. So I'm not going to lie. When I first played this game, part of me did wonder if Darth Maul was using some kind of prosthetic skin to make himself look human.
I was expecting Kenobi.
I was expecting Kenobi. What are you doing here? So Cal, of course, continues towards the temple, and as he nears it, he has to pass a wooden bridge, which, as soon as he stands on it, the Night Brothers push a boulder down, and it crashes, throwing him off the mountain he was on and into the swamps below.
This is a real Resident Evil 4 moment.
As Cal tries to make his way back up, the Night Sister returns, telling Cal to go no further. I mean, his ship's up there, so he has no other choice, really.
Yeah.
She mutters that he was right about Jedi being dicks, and Cal's confused who she's talking about. And then this Night Sister does the coolest and oldest Night Sister trick in the book, and summons the corpses of her dead sisters back to life.
Fuck yeah.
In hordes that Cal has to take apart.
Oh, we love to see it.
As he rises back towards the top of the peaks, he passes through some caves, and he has to go through a Night Brother village. But first of all, he tries to go round it and falls into the lair of a giant bat creature called a pterodactyl.
A pterodactyl?
It's literally a pterodactyl. It's literally a giant bat.
Ah.
And of course, Cal fights it because he's in an arena and there's a giant thing.
And you were in a video game.
And in typical Jedi Fallen Order fashion, when you get its health bar down a certain amount, it does something, and in this case, it crawls away. And Cal manages to start climbing out of the cavern, only for it to crawl up behind him.
Uh-oh.
The bat grabs him with its claws and flies up, but using his lightsaber, he manages to cut himself free. Only then realizing that he is now miles in the air, and he's free falling.
Oh, Cal.
He manages to angle himself and lands on the bat's back. And he flies it, grabbing onto its mane. He flies it into the surrounding landscape, killing it. Cal manages to get back to the Night Brother village, and fighting his way through it, he gets out the other side. And Seer asks him over the comm to hurry and find the tomb, because Grease has been claiming to see a figure outside the Mantis, so Daphne is obviously getting to him.
Obviously, that couldn't be anyone. You probably should have mentioned the creepy man in the hood, right?
Cal manages to get back to the tomb, but the stranger has disappeared. Once inside, Cal finds a stone tablet, and he goes to press it like he normally does, and nothing happens.
Uh-oh.
So you turn around, and a meditation spot, which wasn't there before, is now there. So you of course meditate, because you're probably pretty beaten up by climbing back to the tomb. And as you exit back to the game, the screen turns white, and you end up, as a child, in a room on a Venator Star Destroyer.
Not a child.
It's PS3 time again, baby.
It's PS3 time. Woo!
You walk your way through the ship to get to your training session, and of course, you're buddy-buddy with all the clone troopers stationed on it. Once in the training room, your master encourages you to use everything you've learned to reach the command room. As you're doing this, there's a really unclear jump, which seems to trick everyone out, where you have to jump onto a wall and shimmy across, but because it's all made out of the same Lego bricks, it's hard to tell if they're slightly outlaid, and it's just bad game design. It's a bit bad game design. I'm like, developers, what are you thinking?
This sounds one moment of criticism.
I'm allowed one every now and again.
You're allowed one every now and again.
As Cal gets close to the command deck, the clone commander starts taking shots at him. But luckily, it's just a joke.
As you do.
Jaro tells Cal that, if he was in tune with the Force, he would have anticipated it. And Cal manages to get to the command deck with very little other issues. As he gets there, Jaro is talking to the commander about their future plans. They're about to leave Baraka for Magito. And he turns to Cal, but goes lightheaded and grabs his forehead. Just as the commander in the background gets an infamous message.
Uh-oh.
From a hooded man. Luckily, Jaro gets the jump, chopping down his clone trooper and telling Cal that they've been betrayed and they need to get off the ship quickly. He sends Cal to the escape pods, saying they'll meet on Baraka below, and Cal works his way through the ship's service tunnels in a rush to escape. In the turbolift room, he's climbing up, but suddenly clone troopers appear in one of the doorways and start shooting at him, causing him to fall and drop his lightsaber down into the depths below. His master comes up behind the clone troopers and takes them down because he's a badass.
He's cool.
And, has the typical master, Padawan, your lightsaber! Sorry, master!
Oh,
it's okay,
sorry,
keep
master.
climbing. Get to the escape pods! So Cal, again, back into the vents. Below him, he can see his master just bossing down the hallway, having his own hallway scene. And he gets to the escape pod controls. Everyone gets one. He gets to the escape pod controls and manages to unlock them. And through a window in front, he sees the clone troopers talking about how these doors are impenetrable and it will take the Jedi ages to cut through. But like I said, Cal just opened the doors, so Jaro just walks through, bosses all the clones, and they get to the escape pods together.
Nice.
As Cal opens one, a door opens behind them, and a bunch, at least 10 clones come through.
Holy shit, 10 clones?
At least.
Oh, fuck.
Jaro does his best to block them, but he takes a few hits, and eventually one hits his lightsaber, smashing it in half. Cal rushes in front of him, and does his cool force, anger, slow thing, but not before getting a blaster bolt to the face, which skims him and gives him a cool scar.
As long as it's a cool scar.
Using the slowdown, he manages to get his master into the escape pod and launch. But, sadly, Jaro is now short for this world.
Oh no!
He reveals that he set the Venator to explode, which will mask their escape, and he tells Cal to wait for the Council's orders, and to trust only in the Force.
Trust only in the Force.
Putting his lightsaber in Cal's hands. Cal screams over his dead master as the escape pod falls to the planet below. Back in the present, Cal sees a vision of his master, who ignites his lightsaber and starts approaching. Cal starts fighting his master after being trash-talked, and Cal finally lands a killing blow, and his master says, "Yes! My blood is on your hands, apprentice!" And Cal
Yeah.
comes back to reality with a yell of "No!" to find that he has crushed his own saber in his hands.
Uh-oh. Dude.
Feeling very defeated, Cal exits the temple and runs back into everyone's favourite stranger. "Oh, I did warn you not to go in there."
What are you buying?
Cal says he's not really in the mood. Who is this guy anyway? So, the stranger drops his cloak to reveal his grey beard, ripped abs, and a pair of sabers. And if you go to Image 9, you'll be able to see him.
Wait, hang on. Holy crap! He's just like my dad. No. This man is not like my dad. This man is... What the...
This guy.
Did he cut that, like, symbol himself?
Yep, probably.
He really reminds me
This
of
guy.
the dude who was leading the Knights of Ren.
Oh, the Ren. Yeah, I can see that.
That might be because he's
Yep.
shirtless.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I'll
No,
let
I
you.
see it. I was gonna say this guy is the most Star Wars video game character in a Star Wars video game.
Yeah,
Like, just
good
look
God.
wise and vibe wise.
Yeah, his vibes are impeccable, actually.
My name is Taran Malicos. I was once a Jedi like yourself. After the Purge, I managed to escape to this desolate planet where I got trapped. But using the power of the Force, I became the leader of the local Knight Brothers.
And he even has the horns of their old leader hanging at his belt.
Oh, fuck. Kind of morbid.
Cal's like, you shouldn't use the dark side of the Force, actually. It's everything the Jedi fought against.
But Taran argues, these are dark times we live in. I see you've broken your own lightsaber. I will offer my help to get you to fix it, Cal. As long as you join me and join my family.
And that's when the Night Sister appears, telling Cal that he offered her the same thing.
Taran asks her, Merrin, what are you doing?
And she says that for years he's told her that the Jedi are killers. The Jedi killed her people, but now there's one here. He's willing to let him join them?
Uh-oh.
Merrin calls Malicos mad and tells him he's led the Night Brothers astray. Cal starts running as Merrin summons more of her dead Night sisters
A dead Night
to
Sister.
fight them. Her dead Night sisters. With no weapons to protect him, he has to run back to the ship. Over the comms, he tells Grease and Seer to prep for takeoff, and he approaches and jumps into the side bay. The ship starts flying, with a bunch of dead witch corpses crawling over it. They fall off as, they start flying up. Cal shows Seer his damaged saber, and he blames himself for his master's death. But Seer tells him he can't do that. And she decides it's time to reveal even more of her own trauma. How she was captured by the Empire, they brought Trilla in front of her, a turned Inquisitor, and in that room, Seer embraced the dark side and killed everyone besides her old apprentice.
Oh, damn.
She ran, and for years, she was a wreck of rage and wanted to die. But then she heard of a holocron, and she had hope. She tells Cal to move on and offers him her lightsaber to help. He asks what he's expected to do, and she says it's time to make a new one, as they arrive at
Ooh.
Ilum, a snow-covered planet, and one of the planets where Jedi used to get their
This is-
Jedi saber crystals.
This is Starkiller Base, isn't it?
You're jumping ahead a bit, Emily.
Sorry. Sorry, I got excited about knowing something.
But yes, this planet does turn into Starkiller Base.
I did a full spoiler.
As they land, Seer tells Cal that every Jedi faces the dark side, and that it's easy to fail, but it's their choice to fight that makes them who they are. After a run across the snow, Cal makes it to a crystal cave by melting a door using lights, just as Master Yoda used to do.
for more of this, so you can watch a Clone Wars. It's I believe it's a season 5 arc called The Gathering, and it's one of my favourites.
Please, for Sam, please.
As he goes deeper into the crystal cave, he feels a crystal calling to him. As he approaches, he falls through the ice below, warning BD to stay away. He starts swimming in the direction he needs, but he's freezing, and he starts to fade before he can get out, only to be offered a hand of his younger self.
Whoa!
He manages to get out the ice.
Does he have PS3 graphics?
No, he has HD graphics now.
Ah.
With his crystal now in reach, Cal limps over and takes it in his hand, only to have it split.
Whoa.
Slumping down with no hope, BD plays his last message from Cordova. Failure is not the end, my friend. Cordova says goodbye to BD, knowing that this is the end of their journey. He tells BD that one day he'll find someone as brave and persistent as him, and asks BD
Picking himself up much.
if he's sure he wants to lose all his memories, to which he agrees. Cordova tells BD that his memories will only be restored by trust, and that he believes whoever BD trusts to replace him will be good enough. Cal is honoured that he helped BD get his memories back, and tells him that there's still a chance. Getting to a rock nearby, Cal holds the crystals in his hand, manages to attune them, and this is where you get to pick your lightsaber colour.
Yo! Coolest part of any Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm. He creates a new saber, half his old master's and half Seer's, unless of course you customize it into whatever monstrosity you would like. And he puts half a crystal in each, and he can now use it as a single saber, a dual saber, or in a special move, 2 separate sabers, which he spins around.
Like Ahsoka Tano style.
Yes. Going to leave, Cal finds out the Imperials have a presence on his planet, stumbling out into a trench. It's weird that this planet has a trench, isn't it, Emily? Do you think something might happen here?
I don't know. I think I can't remember where there's any planet that has a big trench in it anywhere in the future. And I definitely didn't blurt anything out about this beforehand. So I don't know where this is going.
You go into a room and it's just filled with chaotic security droids. There's like either 8 or 12 of them. But thanks to your new twirly move, you can take them down easily because you're now really strong.
Hell yeah. We're a strong boy now.
He finds out that the Empire's mission here is to mine Kyber, and he warns Seer, just as she tells him that the Empire are now throwing everything they have his way. As he gets out of the cave and makes his final run back to the ship, Seer warns him that every Star Destroyer in the system is coming towards them. Cal has to take down 2 AT-STs this time, but like I said, they were easy the first time, they're easy now.
Fair.
And once inside his ship, he tells his crew that he always dreamed of storming Coruscant with the Jedi Council, but now the Order's only hopes lie with a gambler, a fallen Jedi, and a failed Padawan. A bunch of screw-ups, which Grease agrees with. And then Cal goes on to say that BD's the only reliable one here. But since they're all willing to sacrifice everything for this mission, for the best the galaxy has. It's kind of like the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Okay, we're all standing.
Just a bunch of assholes standing around.
They return to Dathomir and Cal goes straight to the tomb. At the door he faces his master again, but this time instead of fighting, he blocks and turns off his lightsaber. As Jaro goes for a killing strike, he stops his blade with centimeters to spare, and Cal tells him that he will honour his master's sacrifice. The tablet opens into a door, and Cal goes forwards. getting the Night Sister's attention. She calls his decision brave but not wise, and Cal tells the Night Sister, Merrin, that Taran lied to her, that the Jedi were peacekeepers, not killers, and that he may be one of the last of his kind, before handing her his lightsaber. She ignites it, telling him that she was only a child when an armored warrior carrying a lightsaber attacked. Taran offered her revenge if she taught him her magics. She then gives Cal back the saber and tells him to go fight, promising to watch.
Ah, Cal. Have you come back to join me and start your teaching?
Cal rejects his offer, and Taran turns on his lightsabers, revealing 2 red blades. As the fight continues, Cal gets overwhelmed, but Merrin decides to step in, telling Malicos that he has no right to the Night Sister magic. She then orders Cal to get back up and fight, and together they defeat him. Once on his knees, Merrin pushes him into the ground below, using her Night Sister sorcery.
Hell yeah.
Merrin asks Cal about his journey, and Cal fills her in on the state of the galaxy. When she learns that the Empire is after Force users, she realises that it's a matter of time before they come looking on Dathomir. She decides to help Cal with his goal. Once he gets to the Astrium, he puts it in Merrin's hands, telling her that it's the key to the next generation of Jedi. Merrin says that she's happy, but it won't bring her family back.
Oh.
Cal explains that after the Purge, he was alone for a long time, but then a good friend told him to go out into the galaxy. He convinces Merrin to join their crew and fight by his side. She says that Night Sisters and Jedi don't usually travel together, but survivors, they adapt.
Not just Jedi survivors.
And if you go to image 10, you can see Cal and Merrin bonding.
Aww. They're holding hands.
And Merrin now has a cool new look with her hood down.
Yeah, she looks really cool, actually. She's cute.
As they go back to the Mantis, Cal warns her that the crew may need a bit of convincing, and he fills her in on the team, but she reveals she's been watching them since they landed. Taran wanted her to attack the ship, but she didn't see the need. Once at the ship, Cal introduces her, telling them that he wouldn't have been able to succeed without her help. Seer tells him that they trust him, and he says that he trusts her. Grease gives in, angrily telling Merrin to grab some seat. Cal looks at her
Grab a seat.
and says that they like her. Merrin sits down and BD beeps at her, to which Merrin replies that she has no idea what he's saying, and BD lowers his head and does some sad beeps. But with the Astrium in hand, they can go back to Bogano, where this all started. On the journey, Seer reminisces about Cordova and how he loved exploring. They travelled to many temples, both Zepho and Jedi, but even when she was with him, he was alone. Grease offers to cook everyone some scaz steaks, and the team will thank him for his piloting. They land and Cal's about to leave, but Merrin asks him if he's sure the holocron is something he should find, as he'll be leading the kids into a life as prey like he has. And he tells her that it has to stay out of the Empire's hands. Grease goes back to the cockpit to take him on final approach, and Merrin stops him. She gets up and goes, "I like my steaks rare." And Grease laughs. They land on a planet. Cal can get to the role easily now. But now that you're here and you have your whole force abilities, first of all, if you go to an underground area right by the ship, you can use your new force powers to free a trapped Boglin, who, in thanks, will run onto the Mantis and join your crew.
Ah, yes. The boy.
He hides in events, and no one else may know he's there, but he is.
Oh, he's here. Oh, believe me, he's here.
In the vault, Cal puts the Astrium on the metal disc in the centre of the floor, which causes the room to spin, and one of the side passages to open, revealing A mirror? Cal walks up
Ooh.
and touches it. Gets taken to a dream plane where a giant Zepho talks him through the fall of their civilization. I believe if you go to the next photo, you can see the Zepho.
Let's see. Oh, well, they are cool.
They are massive. So the Dathomir tomb belonged to Kujet, a Zepho sage who led the Zepho from peace into darkness and corrupted them, causing the fall of their civilization. The Zepho in the vision says that he led the remainder of his people into the great unknown in the hopes that they'll find peace. After this, Cal sees a vision of himself, getting the holocron, then surrounded by children as he starts teaching them in the ways of the Force. But soon enough, the Empire finds him. While the students have been trained for battle, the Empire is too strong, trying to capture but not afraid to kill. Trilla comes to Cal and offers to spare the kids if he surrenders. Now in an Imperial facility, Cal is walking through a prison as his students ask him why he betrayed them.
Ooh.
The doors shut and the lights go out, and Cal ignites his lightsaber, now red, revealing his Inquisitor uniform. He then walks up to a mirror and watches as his light side self smashes it from the other side.
Ah, cool.
Very Last Jedi with a Force mirror.
Yeah, it really is, actually. No, I love that.
And I like how, at the end of every Force mirror vision, it seems that there's a Force mirror at the end as well.
Yeah. There was always that one bit where it's just like, oh no, they're looking into here, and it was a mirror. It was a fucking mirror.
Rey's parents are Rey? Huh.
I'm not gonna. Okay. Those two silhouettes in that mirror were clearly Kylo and Rey, clearly. But anyway, let's move on. I'm not
I
going to
always
get
thought
into
we were
that.
Han and Chewie, so that's a joke.
Rey's rear. It's like, oh Rey, I saw who your parents are. One of them went.
Also, I'm just getting my whiteboard out. Number of episodes since Emily mentioned Ben. I'm
Fucking hell. 0
turning the
days.
0 into another 0.
I mentioned him way earlier. I mentioned him within the first 10 minutes of this episode.
Well, I've just zoned it out now.
You've learned to live with it.
Back in the vault room, the holocron now flies in the center. Cal goes to grab it, but a red blade ignites behind him. Following the events of the Dark Temple comic, Trilla has managed to track him down.
Whoa.
She hopes finding the holocron will win her the Emperor's favour, and she fights Cal. But Cal, connection to the Force restored, and lightsaber anew, has a new confidence, and is able to fight back with ease. When a quarter of Trilla's health is depleted, Cal disarms her, and grabs her lightsaber before she can. Sadly, he forgot that one of his powers is getting Force echoes from things he touches,
Uh-oh.
and all the trauma from the lightsaber brings him to his knees as he watches Trilla
Yikes.
as a Padawan get captured by the Empire, get tortured by the Empire, and when she first chooses to put on her Inquisitor helmet. He then watches Seer escape, and Seer didn't even try to save Trilla.
Yikes.
Cal gets up off the ground to find Trilla gone, along with the holocron.
Just Trilla.
Going back to the Mantis, Star Destroyers now hang over Bogana, and Cal runs to the ship and tells Seer what happened, and what he has seen. Seer tells Cal that she is responsible for Trilla's path, and what she's done. She tells Cal that if she could change things, she would. But he cuts her off, saying that it's what they do next that's important. Seer tells Cal that she knows where Trilla is taking the holocron. A fortress of darkness where Inquisitors are made, and a place she never wants to return to. Cal tells her that this time she'll have friends with her, but Seer says no. This time, I'll have a Jedi with me. She then uses the Force to grab Trilla's lightsaber and tells Cal to kneel, using the red blade to knight him a Jedi.
My god. This whole time he was actually just a Padawan Fallen Order. And now he's a Jedi Fallen Order.
He's made it. I love it. It's like an ongoing thing, but like there are so many characters in this era who were Padawans during the Purge and never got knighted, and like every time they get knighting scenes, I tear up a little. Like,
oh, yeah, it is really sweet.
it's just such a moment.
It's like graduating during the pandemic, really, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I wouldn't know. We wouldn't know.
We actually did. We didn't graduate during the pandemic. Actually,
yeah, it's a good analogy. The gang set course to Ner, the home of the Fortress Inquisitorius, an ocean-rich world with a red Mustafar looming overhead.
Ooh.
As they approach, there are Star Destroyers in
Oh my
orbit,
God.
and Grease warns their usual tricks won't get them past the planet's defences. But Merrim thinks she can help. She has a ritual which could hide the ship, and when Grease asks what she needs, she replies that one of his arms as a sacrifice should do.
What the fuck?
After he looks shocked,
Did I hear that right?
Merrim reveals that she was joking. He goes to the cockpit and
Oh,
performs a
fuck.
spell, and the mantis is engulfed in the green fire before turning invisible. Seer tells Cal that once inside, she'll take down the defences while he gets the holocron. And from orbit, the mantis fires 2 pods down to the planet and into the ocean below. And if you go to that last image, you can see...
Yeah, this one is the Fortress Inquisitorial, the Aurora Borealis.
Fortress Inquisitorius.
It's really cool. It looks like don't kill me. It looks like Kylo Ren's shuttle with the wings up. Don't kill me.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
It's funny you should mention the architecture, because that's some real forced shadowing.
Ooh. This
Anyways,
foreshadowing thing I should know about and I'm forgetting.
no.
Okay, alright, cool. Good. Thank you for clarifying.
Forced shadowing should be when it's an upcoming thing, and force cast should be when it's a thing that's happened.
You know what? I actually like that. I think I can agree with that.
And this architecture is a foreshadowing force cast, but I'm not going to tell you why
Whoa.
yet.
Oh, thank goodness.
Cal has to swim into the fortress's underwater passageways. Seer, also now inside, manages to locate the holocron and gives him the location, and he starts moving through the underwater glass-covered hallways. After fighting through a Purge Trooper training room, Seer warns that she's trapped behind a blast door and asks Cal to open it, which he does. Through a window, we watch Seer, Trilla's lightsaber in hand, cutting down troopers. Cal asks how she's holding up, and Seer tells him it feels good, but not to worry.
That's a worrying thing to say whilst you're killing people.
The holocron is up ahead and in the interrogation room, a straight line for Cal. Seer plans to distract reinforcements as he gets the prize. In the chamber, Cal goes towards the interrogation chair, looking for the holocron, but is attacked from above by Trilla, a new lightsaber in hand. It's still one of the spinny ones. It's exactly the same. It's just, Seer has her old one. I thought you might wonder, whoa, how did Trilla get another lightsaber? They probably have like 50 of them. They're obviously factory produced.
But she probably went to the trench planet.
As they fight, she's trying to cause Cal pain, while he tries to talk her back to the light, sympathising with what she's been through. Trilla tells him it's the pain that makes him stronger, but Cal still manages to overcome her, cutting her arm and getting the holocron. With Trilla on the floor in front of him, on her knees, Seer catches up and talks to Trilla. She tells her that she failed her, but Trilla retorts that it's too late. Seer still doesn't give up, and tries to break Trilla down Trilla stands back up, letting go of her hate, as the background starts breathing, and her voice tells Trilla she's failed.
Oh no.
Trilla's last words to Seer are avenge us, before Darth Vader cuts her in two.
Oh fuck. Oh my god, justice for her.
Her anger overcoming her, Seer rushes at Vader and goes to jump and swipe at him, but Vader, one hand, two fingers, just knocks her away, down a shaft into the darkness below.
Fucking
You
hell.
will be rise to surrender, Vader tells Cal, to which he replies, yeah, probably. This fight lasts 2
Probably would be.
seconds.
Oh fuck.
Cal is clearly outmatched and decides running is the best choice. As Vader uses the Force to destroy the facility around them, Cal has to rule one and jump his way to the elevator, and he manages to ride it up before Vader catches. On a higher level, still underwater, Cal runs through the hallways, but manages to get in comm range, and tells Grease to come pick him up. He says he has the holocron, but Seer was lost, and as he runs to a door, he opens it to see Darth Vader standing there again.
No! Again!
Cal tries his best to block the Sith swipes, and as their
The
sabers
Sith
lock,
swipe.
BD climbs onto Vader and gives him a shock, but Vader pulls the droid off and throws him away. Cal, who fell on the floor and dropped his lightsaber, tries to pull it towards him, but Darth Vader, using the Force, keeps it just out of reach before igniting it and turning it on its owner.
Ooh.
At this moment, a red lightsaber flies in behind Vader, and Seer runs up behind him, swiping with fury, with anger. Vader, managing to block all her attacks, tells her she would have made a great Inquisitor. But Cal says that she's stronger. She starts using her voice to crush Vader, but Cal tells her that she has a choice, and instead of using hate to attack, she starts using the Force to defend, creating a shield which Darth Vader's lightsaber can't get through. Cal then uses the Force to shatter the glass around them, and the influx of water is too much for Vader to hold back. Seer and Cal swim out, but as they near the surface, Cal starts blacking out as a figure swims down to get him.
Who could it be?
Cal once again wakes up with Grease leaning over him, this time trying to wake him up. He's relieved to see Cal open his eyes, and reveals that Seer also made it.
Nice.
In Mantis' main room, they celebrate. Merrin hugs Cal, hurting his wound a bit, and Cal thanks her for swimming in to save him. Grease asks the Gam what's next, and Seer tells him that his charter is over and he's free to go. But Grease says, he's willing to stick around a little longer. Merrin then asks about the holocron, and Seer still plans to rebuild the Jedi Order. Cal opens it, looking at the information, and tells Seer it won't be them training the Jedi, and that they should trust their future to the Force, before cutting the holocron in half to stop anyone else getting it.
Ha. Interesting choice.
Cal then looks around at his friends and asks a question. Where to now? And that's the end of Jedi Survivor. No,
Dun,
Jedi
dun,
Fallen Order.
dun. You've got Jedi Survivor on the brain. No, that's great. So good.
So Emily, I feel like this was one where I didn't give you much time to intervene, but what did you think?
I was listening a lot. It was a good one. It was a long one, but it was a good one. But
It's
a
a
game. It was always
17-hour
gonna be a bit
campaign.
longer than yeah. Well, the last thing that we did. I mean, granted, we did 2 of them, but it was a short comic series, so the difference in content is quite extreme. But it was really good. I liked Trilla. Justice for Trilla, honestly, best character in the entire thing.
Inquisitors are cool.
Inquisitors are cool, and specifically she was very cool as well. She deserved better. What else was really, really cool about it? Oh yeah, Grease best character.
I'm a big Grease fan.
We're all Grease stands here. We're Greasy spoons. We love to see him.
Greasy spoons. Or I could be a
Yeah, we're
greasy
Greasy
spoon.
Spoons. That's
Oh,
our
nice.
band name. Yeah, there's like we're like the BTS Army, except we're like Greasy Spoons. You know,
It's BTS Army literally called BTS Army because that's terrible branding.
it's not just they're not called the BTS Army. It's just that they're just called Army. That's it. But like, I felt like I needed to contextualize without saying we're like the Army, but for Grease.
Did you have any moments that stood out to you as highlights?
Moments that stood out to me as highlights. I'm thinking back over the entire thing. Number one, when Grease said, "That's greasy money, baby." That's number one. Number two, I really liked. I really liked seeing Starkiller Base. That was
Mm-hmm.
cool. I really liked Darky
Oh,
V showing up. Actually, was
uh,
pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
on the Starkiller note, when you
Yeah.
first go to Ilum, they comment there's a storm over it, and it's a planet you only need to
Ooh.
go to once for story purposes. But if you ever return to it, then you can see it from orbit, the trench complete, and yeah, it's Starkiller.
Ha, interesting. Oh, that's really cool though. Um, I really, it was really good. I just think, I think it'd be a really, really fun game to play. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like sometimes during some of these fights, a lot of the like, oh, and then they fought this thing. I was like, damn, I wish I was playing this game. You know?
Yeah, but there are a lot of moments when the writers are bringing up health bars, and it was a weird
Yeah.
choice. There was a bit where the writer said you had the choice to go to Dathomir and then just took you to Zephyr anyway. Like, what was that about?
Yeah, they fourth wall broke, and then they looked it into like the person viewing this on the screen, and they went, "You, where would you like to go? You want to go to
I
Dathomir? Fuck you."
I would have really liked to, once the story is over, have Cal go back to every planet he visited, searching for ponchos.
Yeah,
Poncho Patrol. Hashtag Team Poncho.
Team Poncho. The thing is, though, is that like I know that people were upset about the lack of customization options, and that's where the ponchos are controversial. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. You know, I've been disappointed before. And I don't particularly mind.
Oh my gosh, it's a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet thing, isn't it?
It's it's actually worse on Pokemon Scarlet and
I
Violet
said the
because
whole
at
reason I
least
didn't want to play that game is because it had no customization, and yet I'm Team
yeah,
hashtag Poncho. I'm hashtag Team Poncho.
and yet you're hashtag Team Poncho. The thing is, though, is that Scarlet and Violet has the best face customization in the series.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have like 4 outfits per game that you can wear. So you have 4 school uniforms for each of the games. So 8 school uniforms, and you can only wear 4 of them because you can only get them. However, you can get accessories, so you can get bags and shoes and hats and stuff. So actually, maybe it is a step up on the ponchos.
And the thing is, there are 21 ponchos you can find in this game. So, I
Ooh.
guess you win some and you lose some.
Sam, what is the best poncho in Jedi Fallen Order?
That is a big question. There's a bright pink one, which is
Yeah.
quite nice. There's also one which has kind of a Western look, which I believe you get
Ooh.
from the top of an ice cliff on Ilum. There are some lovely ponchos in this game. In fact, do you want me to go through all the collectibles quickly?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We're here.
Not like collectible by collectible, just like all the different collectibles you can get.
Okay, yes. Yeah, let's do it.
Ponchos, I've mentioned. You can get different
mentioned.
underlayers for Cow as well. There's only like 4 of them. You can get
Okay.
skins for BD, which change his colouring. You can get skins for
Aw.
Mantis, which changes its colouring. BD's ones are usually based on famous droids in the series. For Mantis
Cute.
one's based on famous ships. So there's like a Millennium Falcon one, there's a Slave one, there's a Nubian
Aw.
one. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Yeah.
There are plants, which I mentioned earlier. Every planet has a couple of plants. BD will scan them, and they will go into your terrarium. And they will slowly grow as you continue the game. And there are many, many lightsaber parts. And it's like lightsabers are made up of, I think, 6 different parts. You can have each the 2 ends of your double-bladed lightsaber asymmetrical in the second half when you get Seer's Blade. So
Ooh,
you can get some really fancy designs, and you can change the colours of them, well, the
that's
materials.
cool. It's very cool. It's like Galaxy's Edge.
Literally, I think in the first game, they were the parts you could get at Galaxy's Edge.
Really?
Don't quote me
Seriously?
there, but I think it was a
Huh.
thing that, like, any lightsaber you made in Fallen Order, you could then create in Galaxy's Edge.
That's an interesting bit of like cross branding there. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll have to see it.
Anything else? There are Force Echoes, which I guess are collectibles. They give you extra story, but I will save them as a side topic in a later episode when we need to fill more time, or when we have more time
Okay.
to fill. BD can scan things as you go around, which again are kind of collectibles. They give you more lore, and I believe that is it.
I think the
Oh,
Boglin should count.
oh, wait, was that about Boglins?
Yeah, you know you get the Boglin in your ship. I think he should count.
Sure. When you get him, you get you can get him earlier, but not much earlier. And when you get him and Merrin, you get an achievement for having a full party.
Aww, gang's all
And
here.
speaking of wildlife, on every planet you go to, besides Ilum, there is a legendary monster to defeat as part of Cal Kestis' murder safari. Which I think is what we should call the section whenever I talk about animals in the Star Wars universe. Because in this game, sure, Cal befriended a boglin and befriended a bird, but most of this game is him going about slaughtering wildlife.
2 out of 100.
How do you get more force in this game? You murder things, your force regens. That's not very Jedi.
Oh,
Giant slugs on
fuck.
Kashyyyk, slice it up, you get some force. Bugs that are like firebugs that explode, you get some force. Gigantic frickin' spiders, which you can now disable thanks to arachnophobia setting. Thank you, devs.
Oh, thank God.
More force. Giant frogs, more
Not
force.
the frogs. Bro, not the frogs.
There's a giant frog on Bogana called Ogdo Bogdo.
Ogdo. Amazing. Favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I actually have like I have a weird point to bring up that is super irrelevant. It is relevant. It is connected to Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
So you know Cal has, this is going to be really out of left field. Have you ever
Mhm.
played the second bunch of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games?
No, I have never played a single Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game.
Okay, all right. Listeners, this is for the true intellectuals who played these games as kids. The thing that Cal does, you can play them now. They're good games. They're good. They hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I literally played one of them the other day. This is why I'm mentioning this. The thing that Cal does where he touches things and he gets like the force memory of like the stuff is like the exact same as the ability of the main character in those games, and I just thought it was funny. I was just thinking about like a little like Turtwig or something doing all of Cal Kestis's little adventures for the entire game, and it really amused me, and I liked it, so I'm bringing it up.
So that power is actually something that Jedi Quinlan Vos can famously do.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's really cool.
Of course,
It's
there's more
actually
from
like
in Legends than
fantastic.
canon, but we will get a bit of that when we get to some stories of him.
So what I'm gonna say is that the protagonist character from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Time, Darkness, and Sky, can use the Force, and that's something that I'm gonna say is canon.
I agree it's canon, just because we need more Jedi everywhere. And I would
Also, they're
also
great games.
like to run through some more members of the cast quickly.
Yeah, please do.
Daniel Roebuck as Grease, Deborah Wilson as Seer, Tony Amendola as Eno Cordova, Elizabeth Grodin slaying it as Trilla, Tina Ivlev as Merrin, Misty Lee as Ninth Sister, Scott Lawrence as Darth Vader, who was a video game Darth Vader for most games between TIE Fighter in 1994 and whichever game was in 2006.
For that long?
At which
Wow.
point Sam Witwer took over the role, but 2019 he came back in this and Vader Immortal. We had D. Bradley Baker reprising his role of the clones from Clone Wars, and we have Forrest Whitaker reprising his role as Saw Gerrera.
My dad. We love to see it. Oh. Yeah, it's a really, really good cast.
Have you got anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, except for the fact that I'm here to remind you that we should do the question.
Okay, so the question for this episode, going to next episode, is an easier one. But I can't wait to see your answer for it next episode.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Who is Ahsoka Tano?
Ooh. Ooh.
Before we go,
See, I know that one.
Instagram at Crashing the Starfighter,
Blocks.
TikTok at Crashing the Starfighter. If you want to email us to answer this question or get involved in any of our discussions, what's your favourite Star Wars video game? Let us know. crashingthestarfighter at gmail.com. I've been Sam.
I've been Emily.
And thanks for listening. Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Bye.
If it's good enough for video games, it's good enough for us, and that's my phrase of the day, apparently. How's it going? Emily, my co-host,
Yeah.
and I'm Sam. I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Sam, and I'm here with Emily. Emily, how are you doing today?
You should introduce yourself. You do 90% of the work on this podcast. I'm literally here to just be a professional idiot.